Now joining us, Blaine Fowler, Uncle B in studio. Blaine bringing his shirt game strong yet again. Is that peach?
Peach is the color.
I
know that because Brenda told me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you know that prior to putting it on?
No. Well, I just, everybody gets on me about what I wear, but I'm colorblind. so I just wear whatever Brenda puts out.
Are you seriously colorblind? Because
no, I can tell that I thought it was orange.
Oh, orange-ish.
Is it orange-ish?
Yeah. It's orange.
So I'm like colorblind people. When you're colorblind, it doesn't mean you can't see. Like I can tell there's red in that.
Yeah, I sure hope that our 30-year
right
analyst Blaine Fowler isn't can see.
Yeah, no, I can see. I'm not blind. I'm just colorblind. So certain colors just all blend in together, like grays and browns and greens, and they all just look the same to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I wear a red tie, we've gone through this.
Yeah, we talked about last week. In fact, on the show, you wore red, and I said justify yourself.
Cardinal. I do not wear
not crimson.
I only wear cardinal.
I'm glad that we could get that.
And by the way,
we can get that clear.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what happened Saturday for BYU. What did you see out of the quarterbacks that made you think, okay, they got better as a group?
It was just really good to see the younger guys play. And when I say the younger guys, like Tanner's not a younger guy. He's a younger guy too. And everybody thought that he would play a quarter, but we knew he would play more because he's still a young quarterback in terms of development.
You just wondered about the hamstring.
Yeah, and he looked pretty good. They weren't afraid to roll him out to do some play action where he booted outside, and he's looking like it's pretty sound. They had the thing taped up. I think he knew what he could do without hurting it.
Surprised, though, that he got as many series as he did?
Actually, I thought that he would get close to a half, because he needs reps. Every rep that he gets as a young quarterback, he's going to get better. We've talked about this a lot. His skill set, so just the ability to drop back, have good footwork, throw the football with velocity, be accurate. I mean, he's just got that. He just has it. But every opportunity he has to see a defense, to recognize it quicker, to get the ball up quicker, is a benefit to BYU and a benefit to him in the long term. And so I expected to see him play more than everybody I talked to last week. They'd say, well, what do you think? Tanner with that hamstring going to play a couple of series and that's it? And I'm thinking, no, he needs time. He needs time to be able to get better. And so this was a good opportunity. This was like a scrimmage for him where they knew he wasn't going to get hit much and he'd have an opportunity to make more and more reads. He's getting better every week. His ability to get the ball up on time and recognize defenses and get the ball out gets better every single solitary week. And that's the only thing that really needs to get better for this young. I mean, we call him a young guy. He's a return missionary. He's
22
years old. But when we talk about young, we're talking about young in terms of experience. Yeah. And so he is getting better every week, and it's crazy how good he is right now.
I was impressed with what I saw out of Bo Hodge. And I think one of the biggest things for him was that he had more prep time during the week. He took more reps with the first-team guys. And so he went in feeling much more comfortable. And I know Bronco alluded to this in postgame, where he was talking about that third or fourth series, you could really see the light come on and something click with him, especially in the passing game. I was impressed with the progression I saw.
Yeah, and I don't know that people knew how good his arm was. He has a very, very good arm. He can make all of the throws. He came in, and I think his reputation was, well, he's a really good athlete. BYU can run the Taysom Hill offense with Bo Hodge in there. So when you hear that, you immediately think, oh, he's a running guy. And not necessarily. I mean, threw for over 3,000 yards in high school. Yeah, he ran for about 1,000 as well. So he's a true dual threat guy, but he comes with a very good skill set to be able to throw the football. We finally got a chance to see that in a game. We've seen it in practice. We know he can throw it. And for him, it is just a matter of getting a bunch of reps because they were so busy fashioning the offense to fit Taysom Hill and then trying to get Tanner Mangum as the backup reps during fall camp that Bo Hodge didn't get a lot. He got some, but not a ton. And so you're right, this last week, Shep, he had a chance to get reps, get comfortable in the offense, and the coaching staff had a chance to say, okay, this kid's going to play this week. So if he's going to play this week, what plays is he most comfortable with? How do we tweak the offense just a little bit to fit his skill set? And we saw a lot more zone read plays, the option plays, to take advantage of his ability to run the football. And Bronco said this when Dave and I talked to him on Friday on our pregame meeting with Coach Mendenhall. He said that Hodge, there's two different offenses that they would run because there's an offense that they run for Tanner Mangum, which is a drop back type of an offense. And then there's an offense that they run if Bo Hodge is in there, which is very similar to the offense they would run with Taysom Hill in there. So he's more similar to Taysom than Tanner is. I'll take either of them. They're just fine.
Yeah, both super talented, and Bo Hodge needing to be a capable backup just in case for BYU. Blaine Fowler's on BYU Sports Nation. Bye week, then at San Jose State, Missouri neutral, sort of, in Kansas City, Fresno State at home, and then Utah State on the road. What chance would you give BYU to finish November undefeated?
They should be favored in every game. If they play the way they're capable of playing and manage turnovers, because you lose games when you're a favorite by turning the football over. And so they've got an opportunity to run the table. I will not be surprised if they win out and end up 10-2. Won't surprise me.
Wouldn't that be wild? 10-2 this season, freshman quarterback, this schedule?
All said at the beginning of the year when we thought Taysom Hill was the quarterback, that if they went 10-2 with that September schedule, that we'd all be just thrilled. And then, you get the injury to Taysom, and you get Tanner playing quarterback, and you're thinking, wow, now 9-3, 8-4, it might be okay.
Let him mess up a little bit.
Yeah, they're gonna have games when they do turn it over, because you figured as a team they'd be okay, and then they get injuries to Adam Hine, who had started to emerge as a really good running back. If they finish 10-2, with the injuries they've had, and with Taysom Hill not even playing a game, that will be a phenomenal accomplishment, and it's possible. It is possible. Could they go to Missouri and lose? Sure they could if they turn it over. And the thing I worry about with Missouri is they've been pretty solid defensively. They've been not very good offensively, but they've been solid defensively. And that's the kind of game where Missouri keeps teams close. So you have fewer possessions. So if you turn it over, now you got a chance to lose. And so that's the game that I'm really watching to say, does BYU take care of the football? And they play against teams that can have a lot of team speed and very physical. Those are teams you turn it over against.
And did you hear about Matty Mauk reinstated for Missouri at quarterback? Oh, 3 straight weeks of no touchdowns. Hey, Matty, how you doing,
come
man?
on back and play.
We think you've served enough.
Yeah. And our offense has been punished enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the team.
You lose to Vanderbilt, drastic measures.
Yeah, that's the team that scares you on the schedule. And I don't know what to make of Utah State. So they go out, and they've been playing really good defense as well. They looked fine offensively. Has anybody done a better job with backup quarterbacks the last couple of years than
my goodness.
Matt Wells in Utah State?
Wild.
Unbelievable. And so they go out, and when they blew Boise State out, I went, uh-oh. Utah State has arrived. They
could be the G5
They can
team.
beat. Yeah, they're on a roll. They're playing great. And then they went out and laid an egg, and not a golden one, a really stinky, sulfury one.
From the Great Salt Lake.
Yes,
After
it was
one
not
short night
good.
smell those.
So now I'm
you're
just
around those parts.
I get that whiff every once in a while.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It was a lake stink game.
It was a lake effect game.
And I didn't understand that. They looked so good the previous week. They're so good at linebacker. They're good defensively. It seemed like they'd found an answer at quarterback. They were moving the football, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a game. It could be a blizzard by that time of year up in Logan. They've got a great home field. That's another one. But now that one I just don't know. I have to wait a couple more weeks because I recalibrated my thoughts on Utah State after the Boise State game, and then my calibration went back down.
It was a peak moment. It wasn't
crazy.
the average. It was a peak.
Yeah, that was as big a jump up and jump down in 2 weeks as I've seen from any team in the country this year.
That's BYU's win at Texas last year.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Very similar.
See, we all believe that winning out is not impossible for BYU. So I'll ask you this: Is anything less than 9-3 disappointing?
Yeah, if they lose more than one, if they lose at Missouri, or say they get that and they lose at Utah State in a snow game and Utah State plays lights out, 9-3 to me is okay based on what we just talked about, on what they've been through.
Still really good.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Schedule?
And going to a bowl game that they could win.
I think people would have taken 9-3 with Taysom.
But at this point now, if they lose 2 of their last 4, that would be disappointing. If they end up 8-4, that's disappointing. That is disappointing. So I would think
because you have a shot at another 8-win season.
If we're looking at what's the top potential? They absolutely
11.
have a chance to win 11 games with a bowl game. They should not drop to 8. If they drop down to 8 regular season wins, then I'm going to be disappointed. And I think everybody will be disappointed based on how they've played.
When you look at hoops, yesterday the preseason polls come out. BYU second in both the men and the women to Gonzaga. Has the gap narrowed on the men's side with Gonzaga this season?
To finally get a win up there, I think took the aura off of the Zags a little bit. But, man, they're just – okay, Dranginis, Karnowski, who's just at 290 pounds.
7'2", 7'3".
Who in the country has an answer for that? So he's up front. They're just so big. I like BYU's ability to match up with them better this year. They're going to have to kind of rebuild their guard line. Dranginis can play the 2, but you got Kyle Wiltshire playing the 3 at 6'10", Karnowski playing the 5 at 7'1", 290 pounds.
Sabonis.
Sabonis at 6'11" and 250 playing the 4.
You could argue best front line in America.
Absolutely. You could absolutely make a case for that being the best front line in the country.
Who knows? That's where they
and that's where they've got to find some guys. They've got like all kinds of transfers that are vying for positions now, but they're so good up front. I like BYU's ability to match up now because Aites is back. Am I saying that right?
Aites.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jamal's
like the
back.
number 8.
Nate Austin, hopefully he stays healthy for a whole year. Kafusi, you watch him make a giant leap this year. Because I thought he made a giant leap last year from the beginning season to the end. Now a whole offseason.
And he's healthy.
He's going to be one of the premier players in this league. I'm telling you, you watch how he develops. He's an NBA talent that has just been raw.
Wow.
And then the guy that we hardly ever talk about is Kyle Davis. You know, and I like BYU's guard line. I think Emery's going to have a big impact this year. Right off the bat, Chase Fisher's going to be more consistent and better because he's going to be a senior and have been here. But the guy that we don't talk enough about is Kyle Davis. I was so impressed with him when he was at Utah State. He can rebound, he can score, he's a smart player, he's a leader. He's going to have an impact. So I like BYU's ability to match up front better with more depth this year against the Zags than they have been in past years. And then the guard line, who knows what the Zags are going to have up there. But how do you win a championship? Well, you have to beat Gonzaga. I mean, that's all there is to it.
We were having this discussion, and to follow up on your point in terms of better equipped to handle down in the post, we were talking about the fact that there's also now Gonzaga is probably going to have to play more defense against some of these guys than they've had to in the past. They're not going to be able to just sit back and maybe sneak out a little bit on the guard line. They're going to have to guard some of these guys, which hopefully wears them down a little bit more.
Yeah, Karnowski can't just stand in the paint and not worry about an offensive threat. BYU's got guys that will take it at him. And are they going to get shots blocked? Yeah, they will. But they now can maybe get them in foul trouble. You can get Wiltshire having to go to the bench because he's going to have to help defend. The pressure that BYU can put offensively down inside now will make a difference to put pressure on Gonzaga because I think they've easily defended BYU unless BYU's shooting lights out. When they're shooting lights out on the outside, they've been good in the past couple of years. Well, now you have an inside-out game. And isn't it interesting? BYU was a perimeter-oriented team last year, and you watch.
Because Austin and Aites were hurt.
So now you watch this year, they'll be much more balanced, and they may even tip back toward being an inside-based offense where they go inside out. And BYU's always better when they're going inside and the jump shots they're getting from the perimeter are coming from inside out, where those guys are squared up. Chase Fisher's a great shooter, but he's at his best. If the ball's in the post, his feet are set, he's squared up, the ball comes from inside out, and he's got a great look at the basket. He knocks them down as well as anybody. Everyone shoots better when it's that way. And BYU has the opportunity to be that type of offense this year, and that could give the Zags some trouble.
Blaine Fowler is on BYU Sports Nation talking football, talking men's hoops. I like this year's squad as well because I think last year there was kind of this Fisher-Haas, Kyle Collinsworth dynamic where if two of those three were off, BYU was losing that game. And Chase Fisher, at times, if he wasn't on, BYU's probably losing that game or vice versa with Haas, who was rarely off. This year I feel like there's 4 or 5 weapons where, okay, you have a night off, you have a night off, we're okay. Because we have 3 or 4 dudes come back. Do you feel the same way about the balance?
I feel like balance is going to be so much better. And when you're good inside, so Collinsworth is a guy that can break defenses down, and he can make things happen, even if his shot's not dropping that particular night. He gets wherever he wants on the floor. He's so big and so strong. He's got a good first step. If he gets his shoulders in front of you, he's just too strong. So he's going to get into the paint. This year, we'll see him distributing inside for dunks. Guys are going to rotate to help out. Instead of having to kick it back to the outside, he's either going to finish or he's going to have a little dish over to Kafusi for a slam or to Aites for a slam or to Davis for a slam. We're going to see a lot more easy buckets out of BYU this year by virtue of Collinsworth's ability to break down a defense. Seemed like last year he'd get into the paint, he'd draw that defense, and the number one choice was to kick it to the outside for a jump shot. I think we'll see a lot more balance with sometimes it'll be that, and Emery will be out there to knock it down, or Fisher will be out there to knock it down. But other times it'll be a little shuffle pass inside, and it's going to be an easy throwdown. And those are high percentage shots.
You can see more of Blaine Fowler tonight with the guys, 8 Eastern time on After Further Review, rebroadcast at 11 Eastern as well. Blaine, nice job as always.
All right, guys, good to see you in my orange shirt.
Orange-ish, something like that.